Hey, it's Vanessa, and welcome to an expanding conversation about the energy of February. If you see me laughing, it's because I have one of my three cats is insistent on rubbing. Apparently, my cat is helping clear my energy. So we may have a cameo appearance in this video. I'm just going to go ahead and continue to record because it feels important to do. I feel really called to do this. So when I first made the energy read for February 2024, was about a week before February actually hit. And the energy felt very singular. And I would say everything in that energy read video, which I'll link below, it's still accurate, still on, we're still in it, right? And yet in between the time when I made that video, ooh, it is a little challenging. It's almost like having a little kid with my cat rubbing on my leg and my arm. Let me take a moment. Let's take a moment. Let's take a moment and get grounded and breathe. I hope you have a furry friend in your life, furry family member, not non-human furry family member. Okay. All right. So with the energy, as I'm making this video, it's February 3rd, 2024. And in the last couple of days, actually on the first, when it hit, there was this very much like an accordion file expansion of energetic themes that are coming in for the month of February that were not as loud or as clear when I was tuning in January. And so I really wanted to share those with you so you have, kind of a heads up of what might be louder for you this month and how to best work with it. And so there were quite a few, but I'm going to try and narrow it down and get the most potent ones to you, or just kind of give you a brief overall overview of all of those. I do want to give a quick nod to another video that I'll be putting out probably at the same time, which is a month-to-month breakdown of the energetics of 2024. I did an overview, I want to say actually back in December, of the energy of 2024. That all still stands. And what I have found really helpful to do is to actually break it down per month. And so I sat there and kind of looked at the overview of 2024 per month at the collective energetic that is going to be louder and moving through. And it was really quite helpful. So be on the lookout for that video. If it's already up, I'll make sure to put a link to it in the description box below. But for now, let us get into the expanded conversation of the energy of February. And I do want to say welcome. If you're new or returning, glad you're here, glad you're tuning in. Please make sure you're subscribed, you like the video, you share it with your friends, comment, do all that good social media stuff so this gets out to more of my people. And if you're curious, if you're my people, and what a soul group is in general, check the description box below. Just some videos I've done on that topic, free on YouTube. They're just sitting there. So check those out, as well as all the other goodies in the description box. Let's just get into it. All right, so February themes, energy themes that are coming through more strongly. First one that dropped in is purity and purification. These, obviously, they're connected. They're different forms of the same kind of root word of pure. And usually with purity, we associate the sense of, piety, or like, kind of like it's sort of in between innocence and naivety. It's in between, there's just a sense of being very clean, very energetically clean. Like, how it feels when you get out of the shower, especially if you like the way that your whatever you use in there to clean yourself, like really helps you to feel very clean. And you almost feel like your light is brighter and everything is just shining through and you feel really nice and clean. That's the vibe that I'm getting for February. In terms of there's an opening or an opportunity there for you to create and connect with that sense of purity within yourself, of having really clean energy, having integrity. Because when you have integrity in your life, you feel clean. And when you don't, you usually feel very jumbled in your mind and in your emotions. And hold on, sorry. And so the purity, stop that. So the purity that you are looking to connect with in February is it's really about cleaning up your energy, really making some good, clean, clear choices about your use of words, your use of thoughts. We don't think of it in that way, right? It's a bit of a reframe to think, I am using words, I am using thoughts. They just kind of happen for us oftentimes, right? We find ourselves sort of like in a story or a belief or a loop of some sort, as if it has more power over us than we have over it. And the truth is that it's just a tool. Our thoughts, our brain, our mind, they're all tools for us to use. And when we are in right relationship with our light, with our spirit, we can then use the tools that we have in a more, I want to say appropriate, that feels like a judgmental word. I don't mean it in that sense, but more like correct. It's just correct. You know how it is where you're like, oh yeah, I am here. It is correct. It is aligned. It is right for me. So there's a lot of opportunity. Really be mindful of purity, of the purity, how you see things. Do you put a lot of projections and assumptions and beliefs and judgments on yourself or on other people? How can you purify that, right? How can you look at something with more pure perspective, more pure filter or lens? So have the words purity and purification, like one, you may need to redefine those words for you, because sometimes we have associations with certain words. So you can use these definitions that I'm sharing with you right now and redefine that for yourself, and then really look at like, where can I make some more pure, clean, energetically clean, aligned choices for me in all of my actions and in everything that I do and how I show up in the world, so I can really radiate. So that's going to be a theme. What that might translate to, because it's interesting when we think about the energy psychology and we look at the larger context and the underlying dynamics, which is really a lot of what energy is all about. We think, oh, sounds good, it's great, but then how does it roll out in our day-to-day reality? So what that might look like is you may have a lot of, I want to say like crossroads, or, those pictures where the path diverges in one direction or the other. And so there's a lot of like decisions and choice points. You become more aware of that in February and really decide, if I want to walk around with a sense of like, I'm really purifying my space. It's not a detox. It's not like you're trying to remove toxins. It's more that you're bringing in pure substances, pure thoughts, pure food. And I'm also getting to share with you, this did pop in earlier before I started the video, is bee products, which to me, I think that's a beautiful metaphor. The concept of being and how important bees are to our overall ecosystem, and how important being is to our inner ecosystem, right? Like life is so rich with the metaphors and analogies and archetypes and all of those things. So to consider, of course, as long as you're not allergic to bee products, is to look at different bee products that you can start incorporating into your life to help create that sense of purity and purification. So that could be bee pollen, it could be raw honey, it could be, propolis. There's different ways that you can, beeswax candles, right? You don't have to necessarily like ingest it. Yeah, just different. You can stare at a picture of bees. I mean, they're be outside and give grace and give thanks to the bees. That feels really important and related to the theme of purity and purification. So that's what I want to say about that. Could go into more detail, but I want to make sure that I cover the most like potent aspects of each of these energy themes that are coming through. Take a sip. Water. My cat has left, so I'm like feeling a lot more peace. He's like banging his head into my arm repeatedly. Might want to get a little copper cup too. I highly recommend that. Is very helpful for purifying your space, physically, energetically, all of that. Okay, the next theme that is coming through really strong for February is the theme of building. I've done quite a number of videos on the concept of building or being a bridge builder because my crew, my soul group, we're Team New Earth here. And so we're here to create a new paradigm where we understand that we are in a paradigm shift right now from the old Earth to the new Earth. Paradigm is just a model. The systems and structures are changing. The energy is changing, the consciousness is changing, even our physicality to varying degrees and our DNA and such, it's changing. And so in the paradigm shifting time that we're in, there needs to be a bridge, right? We are the bridge builders between the old world and the new. And again, old Earth, new Earth, old paradigm, new paradigm, all of that. I have a ton of videos on that on the YouTube channel, Vanessa Smith Energy Guidance. You can just search that and find that. I have an old Earth, new Earth playlist. And I think the very first video that I made in there is on being a bridge builder. And there's several parts to it. Anyways, the theme of building and being a bridge is very strong in this month. So, but we're going to look at it in February. We want to look at it at building in the context of you personally. Okay. So you want to look at it in two ways. You want to look at what your actions, your thoughts, your beliefs, your emotions, like how you're showing up in the day-to-day, who you're connecting with, all of that, all of your choices, all of our lovely choices. What is it building up to? That's way number one that you want to look at it. What is this building up to? Because we often, we have such an interesting dynamic with the future and the vision and all of that as we do with the past and where we've come from. And we get sort of like caught in this tug of war between the past and the future, and that influences how we show up in the present moment. This, you're going to switch the lens. You're going to switch out your filter and instead look at what you're doing on the day-to-day in your daily life and ask, what is this building up to? So this gives you a more personal, intentional link to your future, what you are building. Oftentimes I know I've been talking a lot about all of these subjects for years, right? I've been in the energy field since 2000, actually since a bit like 1998, but I was a little more open and talking about it since around like 2000, 2001-ish, but 2000 really, right? So that's 24 years now I've been talking about this. It's always in my conversations online and offline, among other things, obviously. It's not everything that I focus on. And I've had a sense of like, oh my gosh, I've been building this library of content. I've been building myself. As I talk about these higher frequency concepts, I've been building my potential collaborations and my potential connections. I've been building the relationships and connections that I currently have. So you really want to look at like, what is this building up to, right? To give you a sense that you're actually moving towards something. Because sometimes I know I look at like the numbers that I have on especially on YouTube. I'm like, how long am I, like, when does this break open? How long have I been doing this for? And yet I love it. And whether anything resulted from it or not, I would do it because it actually clears my energy. It's something that I'm highly curious about, passionate about. Energy influences my life every single day. So I would talk about it whether I got the, external like or subscribe or any of that. I would do it anyway because I like to watch it back. I learn something new every single time I bring information through. And I mean, I'm here. I'm not like disappeared and I'm not channeling anything. This is just simply my read of the energy, but it's really important in February. This is part of actually the third theme that's coming through, which I'll share in just a moment. But to say, what is this building up to? To remind you that you won't always be in the place that you're at. If you've been feeling like you're building something for a long time, or you've been at it for a long time, like, things are changing. Things will pop open. I promise you. So, well, I should probably not promise you because I don't know what your design is. You may have a particular path where like you're just staying in the same zone and the frequency the whole time. I don't know. So I can't promise you, but that's my sense. My sense is if you're in my soul group, things are going to start to like pop and build upon itself very, very, very soon, this year in particular. So what is this building up to? That can also help you clarify your vision of the direction that you're headed and really assess like, how has your vision changed? Who are you now? How do you want to work with all of that? And then the next piece related to building is, what's this building upon? What is this building upon? So we've got the forward and the back, right? What is this building up to? And also, what's this building upon? So, that's the time where you get to reflect and really realize that what you've gone through is not in vain. This is like a message I'm sending back in time to myself as well. It's like it all served, it all counts, and you're really building upon a very solid foundation. And it's good to remind us of that, which leads into the third kind of theme, which is highly connected, and it's showed up as integrate the timeline. Right. So we talk, especially in the energy world, we talk a lot about timelines. Parallel timelines, past timelines, higher timelines, jump the timeline, quantum timeline. It's just like this, it's in the vernacular of how we talk about the linear nature of being a human being. And so just to simplify it, every single choice you make kind of switches the gears in terms of the timeline that you're on. So we're creating it as we go. It doesn't, like, you don't walk through a sliding door and then you're in a completely different reality. You can do that from an interdimensional level, absolutely. But I want to talk about like the physical plane of reality because that's where we're at this moment. And it's obviously influencing your experience. So the integrate the timeline, that's really that's really saying, take a look at what you've gone through and allow it to be so. Take a look at what you've gone through and allow it to be so. Oftentimes we have a lot of resistance, resentment, judgment, like all of these sort of it's an emotional planet, and it's a very messy emotional planet at this point. And so, and that's part of why we come here, to experience the range of emotions that you can have on this planet. And so one of the ways that you can help kind of clean up your own energy and clean up the energy of the collective as well is to integrate the timeline. So to really release, and that goes back to the overall theme of February, which was about, release, reroute, restore. If you haven't watched the February 2024 overall read, which again, I'll link in the description box. So integrating the timeline is, allowing what you went through to be so. Allowing where you are to be okay. Opening up to wherever you want to head, wherever you choose to head, to be okay. We spent a lot of time in resistance. I remember actually, I want to say it was, I don't know, it's probably like 28 years ago, something like that. I remember going to therapy and talking around my feelings. And I remember the therapist said, the key to healing is to actually feel your feelings, not to excuse them or to explain them or to, et cetera, et cetera. You feel the sadness, you feel the grief, you feel the anger, you also feel the happiness, you feel the joy. So it's really like allowing what is to be, from the past, from the future, from the right now. Integrate that. That's integration, and reflecting on that process, right? That's what integration is about. So as you can integrate the timeline of your life, you're free. You're free. It's freedom. We're here to experience what freedom looks like in a continually increasing frequency experience. And it's different at every level. It's different. So that was the 1, 2, 3, third theme that I want to share. Integrate the timeline. And that actually goes right into the fourth theme, which is cultivate being objective. To be able to see what's in front of you with neutrality, to be able to effectively assess, like, does this work? Does this not work? And it's not, again, it's not about being calm all the time. And it's also not about being reactionary all the time. Like, when we understand when it's appropriate and aligned to, I use appropriate in terms of correctness and alignment, not, it's like one of those words that has gotten, I'm gonna say, like, hijacked by mainstream culture and used to gaslight people. I don't mean it in that context. I mean it incorrect from an energetic perspective. It means correctness or alignment. And so you really want to know when it's appropriate time to feel the feelings and to be able to set aside the feelings so you can just objectively assess and be neutral about what is going on. Just to understand the right relationship between when it's time to do that and when it's time to feel the feelings. So that's what you'll be also cultivating. So what that translates to is, watch when you get reactive, watch when you make up a story about something, watch when you want to hide away from the world, and what are the reasons for that. Watch when you want to step out onto the stage and take your stance. What are the reasons for that? So these are the, as you're like cultivating this witness, basically, to your own experience. You're being a witness to your own experience when you cultivate neutrality and objectivity. What that does is, when you interact with people, it makes the interaction and the dynamic between the two of you cleaner. And it's, again, not that you aren't supposed to feel emotions, but you just want to be able to discern between when you're just reacting or resisting something versus you're appropriately or correctly having some big feelings because maybe somebody else was just being an asshole. You know what I mean? So, like, there is that. which reminds me, I really want to make a video around spiritual bypassing on like sort of these new age statements that people make that are really just like gaslighting statements in disguise. Things like, you know, you're just projecting your stuff on me, or if you spot it, you got it. And it's like, we need to unpack that a little bit. I would like to share that perspective from an energy read, an energy guide type of filter. So anyway, that's the fourth theme. And then the very last theme that I want to share with you, again, there were more, but I was like, let's narrow it down a bit. What that tells you, a lot of motion, a lot of energetic motion in February. So even if you find yourself being very physically still, I would support you actually in moving physically, because that does help move the energy. And you can also move the energy with your hands. I have a course, a DIY course. It's called Clean Up Your Energy. It's got 51 energy tools in it. Highly recommend it. Again, check the description box below, but you really do want to cultivate that witness in you in February, and know that there's going to be a lot of movement energetically, even though everything might appear to be very still. Sometimes when everything is still, it actually gives us such a great opportunity to look internally and assess at what we're walking around town with and go like, yeah, no, I don't want to do that. All right, so for the very last one that I got for the themes for the February is to reach for it. And I believe, if I'm remembering correctly, that was a theme for the overall year of 2024 as well. But there's in 3 specific ways that February is asking us to reach for it. Reach for it. The first one is clarity. Clarity, reach for the clarity. And by clarity, I also mean specificity. So if you're like, yeah, I want world peace. Cool, we all do. What does that look like specifically? Like, how does that play out? And okay, and what do you want for your own life? I have this big vision. Cool, what is it? Like, what are the specifics of it? Are you committed to actualizing it? You know, so that and kind of on the flip side of it, which is, I think I'll just wait for clarity to drop in. Yeah, not this month. Like sometimes that is the aligned dynamic or energetic to be in, you know, to wait, to be still, to see and allow it to come through and arrive. This month though, I got very strongly that to reach for it. I am reaching for clarity. Like I am tending to receive clarity. I allow myself to receive clarity. Here's what I am clear about, all of those pieces. So that is an important piece of what to reach for in February. It's a 3C here. So the other thing you want to reach for is creation. So what is it that you're wanting to create? Like I've had for several months connecting with somebody around collaborating together, and it didn't feel quite like the right time. And then last night it was like now. So even though I was done with the workday and I was cleaning everything up, and I actually had finished and was done completely with the day, I needed to open back up the computer and drop this email because I needed to create that potential collaboration, right? It just came in. So you really want to reach for creating the kind of experience that you're wanting to have. And the third thing to reach for is the connections. So obviously, if you're an astro geek like I am, I'm still a beginner, still learning a ton, but Pluto, the planet of transformation, is in Aquarius. Aquarius is all about freedom and the collective and the collaboration and the community and technology and innovation and advancements. And so this is going to be a huge, I mean, it's there for what I think the next 20 years. And so it's going to be a huge time of really coming together and creating that new paradigm, building that new paradigm. So you want to be reaching for connections in February. So if it pops to mind to connect with somebody, just reach out to them. Like really let it, I mean, be grounded, obviously, and clear in your intent, and clean about your energy and whatever. But if you get the intuition, drop in to say, connect with this person, do it. Like, reach for it. Reach for the clarity. Don't sit and wait for it. Reach for the creation, instead of putting it off until the divine right timing or whatever you tell yourself around that. Sometimes that's accurate and that needs to be, but in February, I'm getting the total opposite vibe of that. So reach for that and reach for the connection. Clarity, creation, connection. All right, let's recap. So first energy theme is purity and purification with a little nod to the bee products. I have no affiliation. I just walk around spraying propolis in my mouth and eating bee pollen. Really helpful. Second theme is building in two ways. What is this building upon, and what is this building up to? So really look at those two questions in your life in relation to how you're showing up, the actions that you're taking, all of that good stuff. The third theme is integrate. Am I right? Yeah. Third theme is integrate the timeline. So from the past and the future, really bringing it into that present moment in a very cohesive, integrated, grounded kind of way. Fourth one is cultivate being objective, cultivate being a witness to your experience rather than in resistance or reaction or just attachment in any kind of way. And then the very last one is reach for it, the reach for the clarity, the creation, and the connection. So that's what I've got for you in terms of the February expanded energy read. Thank you so much for tuning in. It is clearly a lot going on this month. Even if your external or physical circumstances seem, like there's not a lot going on, there's a lot going on from an energetic perspective. And so use these themes and the overall theme that I gave you in the monthly read to really elevate you, right? To really assure you and affirm that you are living and creating a life that is really in alignment with the truth of who you are. That's the intention behind sharing these energy themes. And also whenever we talk about energy dynamics, energy signature, and underlying energetic collective themes, all of that, these are higher frequency conversations. And so what that does is it elevates your frequency. And when your frequency is elevated, you can better see the truth of who you are, why you're here, and what you're here to do. And that is a very different stance to walk through life with. You walk through the world differently. That is you embodying your new earth leadership. And that is what I am about. It's also the message that I would like to impress upon you, is to allow that new earth leader to emerge. All right. Thank you again for watching. Please do hit that like button, subscribe, share, click on all the things to get this out to more people. Really do appreciate that. And I will be back again soon. Take care.